Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I've been wanting to do something new with my hair, but I have no idea what I want to do because I've kind of done everything already. I've had bangs, I've had dyed hair, I've had super short hair, really long hair, in-between hair. I'm very much in an in-between phase right now. Here it is. This is my hair. I don't know what to do with it. I'm trying to find inspiration for it. And so I just thought, like, what better of a time to look back on some of my hair eras, my HERAs. I love having hair that's different or that's fun, that's cool. I have a bit of an individuality complex and it definitely guides what I do with my hair. I also think my hair and what I do with it is just so essential to me feeling like myself. I feel like I'm like hunched over, hold on. I feel like the way I use my hair to present myself is so important to making me feel good and to making me feel beautiful. And currently, although like I'm fine with my hair, you know, I just kind of feel like, meh. Whereas previously I would have a hairstyle that just made me like, you know? So, and that's an awesome feeling. And I want to have that feeling back. I recently listened to an astrology podcaster who said Leo season is the best time to get a new haircut. So I'm gonna go over my hair today. I'm gonna go over all the different haircuts and hair moments that I had and sharing them with you. Just because I've had so many and I think it's fun. You know, I love indulging myself. Okay, so I'm kicking this off. I've got like this whole folder here that I compiled last night. And I'm kicking this off with my 7th grade pixie cut. Previously, I had only ever had like bangs and long hair. I would usually wear my hair in a ponytail and I wouldn't really do anything to it. And I was very anti-girl. I was very anti the idea that I needed to make myself look any kind of way. I was like, I'm a tomboy. I'm a tomboy. I play sports and wear Nike t-shirts. That's what I do. And so never really cared about my hair. I remember the first time I got layers, it was huge. It was really, really big. So when in 7th grade, I made the decision to cut all of my hair off into a pixie cut, that was a major shift just in my development as a person, I feel like. This pixie cut, honestly pretty iconic. I went through different phases of styling it. This picture now, like, I remember I had my wisdom teeth taken out at like the end of 7th grade. I've always been a very early bloomer, and that included with sprouting my wisdom, I guess. So I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and I remember once the swelling finally went down, I just wanted to feel pretty again. I just looked so ugly the last like week or two, and you can even still see some of the bruising in this picture that I took. But I set up this phone, I put on my mom's old prom dress, and I did my makeup, and then I had this look. I had this wistful pixie cut moment. Honestly, it looks really good in this picture. It looks I actually am looking at this kind of like, should I do it again? Like the little flip of it. It just like it just fit my head so well, I feel like. I did different things with it. Sometimes, like, that was definitely a much more feminine look to it, but I would also just have it look super edgy, like, oh my god. Oh, yeah. I dyed it blue at one point. I remember I felt really sexy in that. Like, I dyed my hair blue. I had on a really thick wing. And I was like, yes. That, honestly, this moment of this like more alt haircut made me like that really solidified my trajectory, I feel like. My hair stayed short. I only had the pixie cut for about 2 years. By the time I got to high school, I just had this cute little haircut, you know, whatever. Very just standard, just a little grown out, whatever. Being much more normal and natural. I think it was playing into social norms a little bit more, just trying to look pretty, trying to feel very naturally pretty and girl-like. That hair grew out. High school, there's nothing really interesting to talk about. My hair got really long. I got a balayage and wow, Wow. I got a balayage and it just wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. I think if you've had a balayage, maybe you resonate with this. What does it really do? I don't know. I had a balayage. I was about to go to college and I was just kind of like, whatever. I'd spent all this money to have my hair done and then just decided to cut it all off. And I remember thinking that when I cut off all my hair, I was like, there goes all my money. It's kind of it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to associate the length of your hair, the dyes on your hair, as actual money and an actual investment. When I cut it all off, I dyed it again. I dyed it this dark red. And my friends now don't believe me when I say my hair was red. And maybe it's just none of the pictures really do it justice. But I dyed my hair, the color was called like cherry Coca-Cola or something like that. Like it was red. I feel crazy like trying to explain this and like arguing with you. Like my hair was red. But it was. This was really big. This was another really big moment, cutting off all that hair. This was my college haircut, and that's what everybody else affectionately called it as well. Because this was right as I was going into my freshman year. It was a huge cut. I probably cut off like a foot of hair and had this whole new look. And I really liked it. It looked really pretty sometimes, the red or whatever. But it kind of faded and it didn't really look too great after it faded. It was just kind of this washed out, rusty, like, you know. I was not doing well also, by the way. I was not doing very well. And so I just went through this phase of cutting my hair all the time. I cut it way shorter into this bob. It's kind of a cute picture. It's kind of serving that makeup look right there. It's kind of good. But I remember I literally felt terrible and wanted to die a little bit. I was in this phase of just cutting my hair short, trimming bangs, cutting it just like whatever. God, can you tell I wasn't like, look, what am I looking like? So edgy, so edgy looking. I would throw dye on it. I'd make it darker. I made it black. Wow, this look, oh my God. Like these pictures, I just remember asking one of my hallmates at the time. I mean, we were friends, right? Like I was like, but I was like, will you take pictures of me? And I put on this dress that I had. I put on these thigh-high faux leather boots. And I just had my freshly dyed black hair. And I'm posted up in my freshman hall stairwell. Oh my gosh. I thought that was really sexy. I guess. It's lukewarm. Whew. Things changed. Things changed mentally, physically, socially, probably politically and economically as well. That's how massive of a change this next hair phase was, okay? Because what I did next, I went blonde. I bleached the shit out of my hair. Like, oh my gosh. My hair actually bleaches really well. For being a pretty dark brunette, it lifts pretty easily. And it went into this really nice, natural, light blonde that I then made silver, or I made like gray. And that was the goal. The goal was to have silver hair. I wanted to look like Phoebe Bridgers, basically, or like Billie Eilish in those eras. You know? I was playing catch up, but I just had always wanted that. I remember being in 7th grade when I had my pixie cut, and I thought it would be so cool if I had a little short blonde pixie cut. My mom would never let me dye my hair when I was in middle school, which is that's probably right. When I got to college and I had my own money, I went through this phase of just saying like, whatever. And I made this decision to expensively dye my hair and keep up with a platinum do for the next like year and a half, I guess. And let me tell you, it looked really good. I mean, I loved it. I felt much more creative with this. I would do all sorts of fun things to my hair. I would show it off constantly. Oh, coy. I felt really beautiful. And everybody would always be hyping it up too. Everybody would love this hair look. And it would kind of alternate between being blonde, just being kind of like a platinum blonde, versus being gray, almost like a dusty lavender. But it was really fun. I think it really let me feel fully confident in the way that I looked, just because I knew that everybody all the time loved my hair. Everybody was just always like, that's so cool. And I was like, yeah. Because just objectively having silver hair, now it's not even me with the silver hair, you know, it's like, it's the hair that did everything. That did everything I needed it to do and more. So I love this time period. I experimented with having it just pretty straight and standard. I never really liked my haircut during this time. I never really felt like that was wowing everything. I thought that the hair itself was pretty, but I didn't particularly care for the way it sat on my head, I guess. That is until I got myself some bangs. This was really random, actually. It was winter break, or it was like the day before winter break. And I don't know, YOLO, I guess. I cut them myself. Then I was very inspired by this. I was like, oh, bangs. And then I went through, for the next month, I was practicing all these different ways of cutting them and styling them. I probably trimmed my bangs like every single day, because I would notice a new flaw or a new way that was gonna make them better. And they got shorter and they got shorter. But honestly, they became more and more of a serve. So I kept doing that until I got to this point that I really loved the way my hair looked. This is the first time, I feel like, where both my haircut and the color was just absolutely everything I wanted, and I would not sweat it at all during the day. I would wake up with hair that I just loved and didn't have to do anything to. I got it professionally trimmed back up and dyed when I got back to school. And then, I mean, just again, I was in this era of a fabulous haircut, okay? So this was early 2024, and bangs were on the come up, I think. And I remember kind of thinking like, do I want to do something that everybody else is doing? Like really fighting with that individuality complex to keep those bangs above the eyebrow. But I did it, and I thought it worked really well with my face. Again, like, I don't know, it honestly, it made me feel very beautiful, and I really liked it. I felt confident, I felt edgy, I felt feminine, I felt like it showed my face. But over time, the blonde or the silver in my hair started to wear down and degrade, and I was just becoming more and more of a platinum blonde, which was fine, but I didn't want to be platinum blonde. I wanted to have silver hair. And just for some reason, I could never really get this to stay, or I couldn't get my hairstylist to dye my hair silver. She would dye it and then just kind of keep it like a very cool blonde, which was fine. And I probably wasn't expressing myself like as clearly. But I was so tired of just looking blonde and feeling like I was a brunette who was insecure in her brunetteness and went mega blonde. So I then instead just dyed it purple. I just slapped on purple dye. The goal with this was to get back to that like silver, like pretty lavender color that I had. So at first when it went on, it was super duper bold. I was walking around just like, oh man, like what did I do? Over time, it faded and it turned into exactly what I wanted it to be. This really nice silver, lavender, just like cloudy looking kind of hair color. And I had my bangs still. My hair was more grown out. Again, this was just a time period that I felt so me. I just felt so good about the way that I was able to present myself and express myself. I just loved this hair look. I loved it. Ugh. Part of me wishes I could still be looking like this. I think I could have this hair forever and love it, honestly. And the thing with being blonde, being bleach blonde, is that if you have different people who attend to your hair, if you ever did anything to your hair, such as dyeing it purple, it's gonna start showing all the different variations in your hair color. And so that's what kind of started to happen. Was on the top of my head, it was lighter, it was more blonde, and then on the ends, it would be more purple, it'd be more silver. But even then, there would be discoloration or non-uniform hair coloring. And that really bothered me. I really did not like feeling like my hair looked bad, I guess. Like, I didn't want people to think that the word cheap comes to mind, and that sounds really shallow, and I really don't like to say that, but it was like I was paying so much for my hair, and then still it wasn't as nice as it should have been looking. And that was kind of my fault, right? But I was getting fed up with it. I didn't like the yellow that was coming in my hair. Also, it takes so much work to maintain this kind of platinum blonde. I did not take a warm shower for that entire year and a half that I had it. I was just constantly in this lukewarm or cold water because I was too scared to get a temperature hot enough to discolor my hair. I was feeling a little ridiculous with it. I was just feeling like I was kind of over the upkeep and the maintenance. In hindsight, I feel like I would have kept it longer. But again, as we all know, I'm great at social trends, social predictions, and whatever. I knew that we were heading towards a place that was gonna be... I knew that I wasn't gonna have a lot of money to spend in the future, and I knew... I just had this feeling that we were going into a recession. This was before Trump was elected. Recession indicator, Abby got rid of her blonde locks. And it really was, a lot of it was due to the financial element of upkeeping that kind of hair. It was also just discomfort and maintain something that was very physically appeasing, but just was so hard in every other avenue. And I really was just weighing it and thinking that I didn't need to work so hard just for something that looked good physically, which is sad and devastating to everybody. But it was okay because I also looked great as a redhead. I remember going to the salon, thinking about getting it dyed blonde again, but then we just committed to this bold ass red color. When I first got this color, I was kind of feeling like I just made a really big mistake. I would walk by a mirror and it looked like I was wearing a wig almost. It just didn't look right with my skin tone, or just the red itself was just crazy bright. And I mean, it was supposed to be initially with that initial dye, it was supposed to kind of fade, but I just remember for that first couple of days, I was like, whoa. Especially after having just had a haircut, that made me feel awesome. And it did fade. I started liking it more and more as it faded, and I even got to this beautiful, I wouldn't say strawberry blonde, but just this very soft ginger, and that made me feel awesome. This was another time that I felt really beautiful with my hair, was having this very soft ginger, and I would honestly go back to that. I forgot, I bleached my eyebrows during this time too, because again, obviously I'm a natural brunette. I thought my eyebrows were just too much of a giveaway, that my hair wasn't matching me. And so I dyed my eyebrows on a whim and then would kind of color them in based off of whatever shade my hair fell on that day. And it was fine. It was fine. Personally, I don't think I would bleach my eyebrows again, because I remember I went to the beach and had no eyebrows and then this crazy red hair, and the pictures that I have of that, I'm not showing those, I don't have them. It was a little crazy sauce, okay? So I got it re-dyed red, and then it was this darker, richer shade. Honestly, was pretty, but was just very synthetic looking to me. You know, it wasn't supposed to be a natural red color, I guess. It was very just like red. It wasn't ginger, it was red. And it didn't last that exact color for too long. Honestly, this color is pretty similar to the one that I had when I entered college. I just don't have any pictures from when I entered college that illustrate this same shade. When this red faded, it gave me such a natural looking ginger. It looked like that was my natural hair color. This kind of dusty, rusty ginger in a different way than the original freshman dye job I had created. I think it was because my hair was originally bleached, and so the red could just get into it better and just created this more sincere, less like muddled kind of color. It just stuck onto that blonde and it maintained a red pigment that my freshman year dye couldn't do. So I really liked my redhead era. You can't even really tell I'm a redhead in this picture. I just like this picture because I look cute. This is another time that I cut my bangs again and I maintained this shaggier look. Yeah, I would go back and forth between growing out my bangs and then cutting them, but I liked this red and I liked that I didn't really have to worry about it. I didn't really do anything and it stayed up. Across these different hair phases, it feels very sincere to who I was at the time. Because at this point in time, I wasn't feeling as attractive. I wasn't feeling the need to be socially accepted. I wasn't feeling like I had anything to prove or any sort of work to put into my physical appearance. I felt like I had already sort of gained this social acceptance from being blonde, and I didn't need to do that anymore. When I was blonde, that ultra performative look that I had, this huge amount of upkeep, just matched who I was entirely at that time. Being somebody who really wanted people to think that she was cool, like her aesthetic, or see her, I guess. I just remember part of the reason I also stopped being blonde was just because I was over that need. I didn't feel like I had to prove anything, and I didn't really want to keep proving something just for other people. So me being this really faded redhead honestly feels very sincere, and I really liked it. But as my roots grew out and as it just kind of started looking more and more like I wasn't taking care of myself, I went back to being just a brunette. And I got my hair trimmed up again, back to the short bang, back to this cute, like, I would always show Sophie Thatcher as my inspo, of course, duh. But I would show that look, that shag, and I would keep this, I don't even know how to describe it, but short bang, short upper layer, and then like I was working on growing out my hair. And that was epic and that was cool. And then I had some kind of like traumatizing stuff going on in my life. Not gonna talk about it, you know, let me know if you want a lore drop, okay? I had some really kind of dark and sad things going on, which again made me act up with my hair. You can't really tell in this picture, I don't think, but I slapped on like a teal dye onto my hair for no other reason than I just wanted to have some kind of control or some sort of expression over who I was and how I felt, I guess. So I had this teal hair and you can't even tell. The pictures that I have here, like you can sort of see it, but not even really, just because my hair is so naturally dark. And when I slapped teal hair dye over my brown hair dye, it just kind of looked like dark hair. In this picture, I feel like there's some light shining in on it and you can see some kind of green going on. But again, it just kind of looks black. I was very sad at this point in time. There was a lot going on that was just, ooh, at least I was hella thick though. This is my Tinder picture, this is like my main Tinder picture for a while. My hair at this point, I really like my hair still. I just love the short bangs. Like, I think just consistently, that's what I've learned over the course of this video. It's like the short bangs that I had, mwah. Because my hair wasn't getting bleached all the time, the natural kind of waves that I have in my hair started coming out. I say natural waves, and then my hair's looking like right now. So this teal kind of fades, and I don't really know what to do with my hair. I added these random strips of bleach into my hair, and then I had these kind of just random little highlights going on. I don't know why, just kind of, again, just trying to feel some control, I guess. But oh my god, look at this girl. Look, she's not happy. Also, at this exact time that my life was not going well, of course my car broke down, right? Because that's always what happens. It's always everything is going wrong and then your car decides to jump on it, to be empathetic. So I remember I got stuck at my brother's house and waiting for my car to be serviced. And I had to fill up my days waiting for my car, and I just walked into a random hair salon, and my haircut cost me $30. And she cut off a ton of the dead ends that I had, and she cut off some of the highlights that I had just done as well. So my hair was much shorter than I really wanted it to be, but again, I didn't really care too much. This was an era that was just sort of filled with sadness and darkness. So my hair was like the least of my worries. That's the last time I got my hair professionally cut. That was in December of 2024. So since then, my hair has just kind of been going back to this natural brown. And I was just my hair's kind of taken a back seat to everything else in my life. I've just kind of let it grow out. I've trimmed my bangs at some points, but most of the time I've just been doing my life. Here's a picture of me going to yoga. Honestly, my hair looks really cute in this picture. Even though it's like, it wasn't at the top of my list, I still had those bangs. And like I said, the bangs made me feel really cute. And I slowly over time started to feel better and a bit more in tune with myself. I even started like expressing myself more. Like in this picture, this was at the Mickey 17 premiere, and I wore this look. I also had a set of little gloves, little lace gloves that I wore, because I always wear that when I go to the movie theater. Okay, if you're going to the theater, you gotta dress for the theater. Like, I'm somebody who really loves to express themselves through makeup or hair or style, and there was just, in those last sets of photos, I feel like you can just really see there's like, I'm very devoid of anything going on my person or on my face. And here it looks like there's a spark, there's a recognition of the girl I was. And I started feeling better. I started feeling a bit more confident, a bit more beautiful. I started dolling myself up more when I felt better. I started expressing myself more. Look at this Billie Eilish ass fit. Everybody told me not to get that skirt, by the way. I was at a thrift store with my friends. I was like, should I get this skirt? And they all said no. I said, I'm gonna get the skirt. And I'm glad I did. I actually love this skirt. I stopped trimming my bangs because I think basically at this point in time, this awesome picture, because I don't really always love to have my picture taken, which is why I guess I look like that. I think I just kind of stopped. I kind of was okay with the idea of having bangs. I could sometimes style them, like in this picture where it was like kind of off to the side, but I'm mostly committed to growing them out at this point, and just kind of doing way less upkeep. I also, once again, that individuality complex started kicking in, and I just kept seeing memes and pictures and posts of all these people talking about like, I need my bangs shorter. My bangs aren't the shortest bangs in New York City anymore, and stuff like that. And I was like, definitely can't have bangs anymore. It's out. If it's in the public eye currently, it's out. Not to be a snob. This was a graduation picture I had. I remember I really wanted my hair to look really long. And so I had it over my shoulders to kind of show that off. My haircut was kind of, and still is, this very like staggered like look, because I trim it up, I take care of it. So you can see my layers currently. This is layer 1 of my hair. And if you ever see my videos, you'll kind of notice I'm like talking to my camera and it looks like I just have like a bob or something like that. And then boom, hair. But it's done because I like the look of, like, I wanted to accentuate the the length of my hair, because I've had short hair for so long that I want people to think my hair is longer than it is. This is another picture. Happy girl, restored, healed. That basically catches it up to where it is now. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know what to do with it. I have no idea. Like, you can just see, I've done a lot already. Once you've done everything, what else is there to do? I don't know what the next thing for me is. I don't think I'm gonna dye it right now. I don't have the money for that. I could get it cut, but I don't think I could do any sort of haircut that's all that dramatic or would be that life-changing. I think I'm just kind of in this era where my hair is just kind of supposed to be just hair. But tell me what I should do with my hair. What do you think I should do with my hair? Tell me what should I do? What do you recommend? You can say things like you should get a buzz cut, and I'll say no. But I'm happy that you would express your opinion. I just wanted to make a video of my hair because I have just had so many eras, and every time I'm creating like a dating profile, like if I go on Tinder or something, I really struggle to create anything because I'll just have all of these different pictures of myself that I like, but that are me as a blonde, me with purple hair, me as a redhead, me now. And it's like, it's misleading a little bit, like, to what I actually currently look like. And, you know, that's fine. But I also don't really like getting the comment like, so what color is your hair now? Or like, you crazy girl, like, oh, like you're always changing your hair, like, oh, what's the next hair color? I don't like the way that people talk about me personally changing my hair, but also just women in general, like changing your hair so frequently or erratically. Like, although yes, sometimes, and definitely as illustrated through this video, can represent poor mental health or instability, I think it's also, why would you care? Who cares? It's like, it's my hair and it looks great. That's it for this video. Just like a little like peek into some of my existences before. What hair did you like the most? The least? What do I do now? If you're still here at the end of this video, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. I have more things lined up. I'm in my YouTuber grind right now. That's all I really gotta say. So, good night, sleep tight, lots of love. Mwah.